The world's most advanced armor vehicle was dispatched into the desert on a special mission. But the people inside were neither vicious criminals nor elite special forces. They were teachers. You should have already received the notice. Do not leave the designated area without permission, and do not say anything provocative to the inmates. Proceed with caution and remain highly alert. It turned out that the destination of this journey was the largest international prison in the world, Fergland. Because of the prison's notorious reputation, the inside of the vehicle was deathly silent throughout the trip. In the end, a female science teacher named Lara couldn't help but greet the man sitting beside her. She learned that the man, Jiang Dantang, was also a science teacher, just like her. Their conversation gradually loosened the atmosphere, though aside from the two of them, the other teachers each specialized in different subjects. After some brief introductions, the teachers on board slowly became familiar with one another. One of them then naturally began talking about the legends surrounding Fergland. Fergland, it seemed, had not come into existence like an ordinary prison. 50 years ago, a meteorite had crashed into the desert. 5 years later, under the joint efforts of multiple nations, the prison known as Fergland was established. Because of that meteorite, many online speculated that aliens were being held there. Some scholars even claimed that Fergland was connected to the gates of hell. Based on those rumors, one male teacher guessed that their students were not prisoners, but monsters. That claim was quickly refuted by Jiang Dantang. As educators, we shouldn't believe such things. Wherever they are, everyone is just trying to survive, and everyone deserves the right to learn. But Mr. Dantang, aren't you afraid? Even if the rumors are false, it's still a prison, holding inmates from all over the world. Jiang Dantang replied calmly. They simply lack education. At least, that's how I see it. Before the others could respond, the accompanying soldiers made an announcement. They would arrive at Fergland in 5 minutes. Jiang Dantang finally caught a clear view of the prison where he would be teaching. It looked like a steel behemoth shrouded in mist. The largest prison in the world, Fergland. The soldiers warned them to surrender all personal belongings and strictly forbade any photography. Soon, everyone realized that the entire prison was engulfed in dense fog. Forget taking photos. Even seeing clearly with the naked eye was difficult, and this was only the first checkpoint. To begin teaching, they would need to pass through at least one more. At that moment, the soldiers spoke again. After you hand over your personal items, we will escort you to your assigned classrooms. For your safety, please follow our regulations at all times. Perhaps influenced by the earlier rumors, Jiang Dantang truly felt a sense of dread. But having come this far, there was no turning back. He kept reminding himself not to be afraid. Everything was for survival. By the time he had steadied his emotions, he had arrived at the classroom. The moment he sat down, however, something felt wrong. The place where he was to teach was an isolation room. Even the glass in front of him was bulletproof. And Jiang Dantang couldn't help wondering whether the students could even see the blackboard clearly. Before he could raise the question, the soldier in charge pushed the door open. Mr. Jiang, are you ready? We're bringing the inmates in now. Until the class ends, do not leave your seat under any circumstances. Remember that. As the metal door slammed shut with a loud clang, Jiang Dantang's heart jumped straight to his throat. He could vaguely hear footsteps drawing closer. His students were about to arrive. But the instant the door opened, Jiang Dantang sucked in a sharp breath. He could hardly believe that these bizarre figures standing before him were his students. Staring at them, the fear inside Jiang Dantang reached its peak. That rumor surfaced in his mind once again, that everything locked inside Fergland was a monster. Jiang Dantang forced himself to stay composed, repeatedly telling himself that they were human, merely lacking education. After several deep breaths, he finally regained his calm. The moment he picked up the microphone, he became that confident teacher once more. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jiang Dantang, your science instructor. To lighten the mood, he made a small joke. There are many interesting subjects being offered this time, but I've heard science is the most popular. Why do you think that is? Are you planning to build a rocket and break out of prison? Yet to Jiang Dantang's surprise, the inmates remained deathly silent. Instead, it left him unsure of how to proceed. He had no choice but to steer the conversation back to the lesson. Today, we'll choose a topic that's simpler and more interesting than building rockets. Let's step into the natural world. You should all see what's on your desks, Jiang Dantang said. That's a sweet potato. Growing sweet potatoes is usually a science activity done with elementary school students. But these inmates from all over the world had mostly grown up in gangs, making an experience like planting sweet potatoes completely unfamiliar to them. The process might feel boring at first, but with a small cup, some water, and a bit of patience, you can watch the sweet potato grow. Jiang Dantang believed that through this growth, they could come to understand the value of life. Students of Fergland, the reason we're all here today is because each of you has a desire to learn. To me, you're just like this sweet potato, full of limitless potential that isn't defined by your surroundings. So starting today, let's try growing sweet potatoes together. Before he could finish, someone slammed a fist onto the desk. Are you mocking me? Saying I look like a sweet potato? Jiang Dantang hurriedly explained. That's not what I meant. I mean that all of you, like the sweet potato, have limitless potential to grow. But before he could clear up the misunderstanding, he heard the sound of someone biting into a sweet potato. A few students had already picked them up and started eating enthusiastically. That's not for eating. I handed them out for the lesson, not for you to eat. Jiang Dantang couldn't understand it. These people had come willingly, yet none of them seemed willing to cooperate. At that moment, he heard an extremely impatient hey, and quickly looked toward the source. Cut the kitty tricks. Just tell us, how is the fog made? The question stunned Jiang Dantang. How is the fog made? Thinking of the mist surrounding Fergland, he immediately understood. You're asking how fog forms, right? The inmate sneered. Scientist, don't you even know what fog is? Jiang Dantang replied awkwardly, I'm just a science teacher. Calling me a scientist. Is it your way of responding to my joke earlier? Before Jiang Dantang could finish his sentence, the bulletproof glass in front of him suddenly shattered. The man who had spoken earlier used no weapon at all. He smashed the bulletproof glass with his head. In that instant, Jiang Dantang completely lost his nerve. He had never seen anything so terrifying. The inmate stared at him with brutal eyes. Do you really think I'm joking? Jiang Dantang panicked and shouted, Control room. Control room. An inmate has broken a glass. Almost the moment he called for help, a large group of fully armed soldiers rushed into the classroom. They didn't target anyone in particular. Instead, they fired indiscriminately at everyone. In that moment, Jiang Dantang felt that everyone here had gone insane. He pounded on the door like a madman, desperately hoping someone would let him out. But the voice in his earpiece was cold and detached. Wait until everyone has been eliminated. Jiang Dantang couldn't comprehend it. Was everyone here going to die because of one person's mistake? Even a blind man with no eyes had a gun pressed to his head. Yet when Jiang Dantang snapped back to reality, he realized that the blind man he had mentioned had crushed a soldier's steel helmet with just one hand. This was a massacre through and through. Only the targets were wrong. It was a slaughter of guards by prisoners. At that moment, Jiang Dantang was absolutely certain that these beings were monsters. Faced with such a bloody scene, he found it hard to breathe. His consciousness faded rapidly, and in the end, he blacked out completely. Jiang Dantang failed to notice that the hooded man in the corner had been staring at him the entire time. After what felt like a long while, Jiang Dantang slowly opened his eyes. In the corner, he saw a man in a prison uniform crouching there. Their eyes met. The air was filled with a deathly silence. Still shaken and not fully lucid, Jiang Dantang actually asked who the man was. As his mind cleared slightly, he immediately sensed that something was wrong. The surroundings looked unmistakably like a prison. What's going on? Where am I? The man suddenly replied, My home. Hearing those words, Jiang Dantang instinctively turned to look at him. There was no doubt. The person before him was a prisoner. He suddenly remembered that a riot had broken out before he lost consciousness. Jiang Dantang already knew the answer, yet he was too afraid to accept it. Is this a prison? Is this Fergland? The man in the prison uniform nodded repeatedly. You brought me here. You must want something from me, right? The man nodded again and held out the sweet potato in his hand. Please tell me how to grow sweet potatoes. In that instant, Jiang Dantang was left completely speechless. He never imagined that this would be the reason he had been brought into the prison. Jiang Dantang finally broke down, shouting, "All this over a sweet potato? You dragged me here for that? You brought me into a nest of madmen and lunatics just for a sweet potato?" Jiang Dantang felt like he was on the verge of losing his mind. At last, he believed what that teacher had said. What was in prison here were not humans at all. The guards had already been torn apart by these lunatics with their bare hands. And now, it seemed to be his turn. Jiang Dantang suddenly noticed something. The man labeled prisoner 182 kept his right hand hidden behind his back while speaking. A chill ran through Jiang Dantang's mind. This is bad. Is that a knife? Sensing danger, Jiang Dantang lunged forward. You bastard! To avoid being killed by 182, he had to strike first. Fortunately, his move worked. 182 was caught completely off guard. Jiang Dantang believed he had the situation under control. After all, this man still barely looked human compared to the others. He was also someone who had gone almost unnoticed during the riot, so as long as Jiang Dantang stayed calm, the situation could still be managed. The first priority was to take away whatever weapon might be hidden in that right hand. That was when Jiang Dantang realized the truth. The man's right sleeve contained no arm at all. Awkward as it was, he still tied up 182's only remaining left hand. Using violence was wrong, but under the circumstances, there was no alternative. Suppressing his anger, Jiang Dantang accused 182 of dragging him into danger with such stupidity. Kidnapping someone inside a prison was utterly absurd. You want to learn how to grow sweet potatoes? Sorry, not happening. He wasn't about to teach someone who couldn't even think straight. Eat the sweet potato yourself. At least it won't go to waste. As for him, he's leaving this place now. As he spoke, he began calculating. What's the room number? When is mealtime? The doors outside should still be locked, right? Jiang Dantang was convinced that the riot had triggered full lockdown. The guards had to be searching for him. If he made enough noise, they would find him. But when he looked outside the room, all he saw was thick fog, obscuring everything. He shook the metal door with all his strength, hoping someone outside would notice him. The very next second, the door he thought was locked swung open under his own push. Jiang Dantang was stunned. The prison door had opened far too easily. By all logic, a prison cell door shouldn't be this simple to open. The moment he stepped outside, Jiang Dantang finally realized that this place was nothing like the prison he had imagined. Rather than a prison, Fergland felt more like a city. What's going on? This isn't a prison at all. How could this be a prison? Where did you bring me? Where's this place? Before he could shout a third time, a pale hand clamped over his mouth from behind. Shut up. You've been loud ever since earlier. There's no way out of here. You endure it and survive. Jiang Dantang felt like he was about to lose it. Survive? Here? In a garbage dump like this? He lashed out, insisting he was a normal person, not a prisoner, and hurled insults at them as the dregs of society. His voice suddenly stopped. At some point, a giant like a mound of flesh had appeared beside them. Compared to the skinny 182 standing next to him, this was clearly someone Jiang Dantang could never afford to provoke. He immediately apologized. I'm sorry. I wasn't talking about you. But 182 suddenly spoke up. What are you staring at, you little mutt? The instant those words were spoken, the hulking inmate raised his enormous fist. To Jiang Dantang's shock, the one who got hit was him. After beating him down, the inmate even took Jiang Dantang's clothes. Only then did 182 speak again. I told you not to be so loud. Lying on the ground, Jiang Dantang cursed nonstop, blaming everything on 182. Now even his clothes were gone. He demanded to know why 182 always did stupid things that got others hurt, and why he would provoke a monster like that. He even insulted him as an idiot with no arm. Seeing that 182 didn't react at all, Jiang Dantang thought he might have gone too far. The next second, however, 182 began taking off his clothes right in front of him. Jiang Dantang panicked completely. half expecting some ridiculous TV-style scenario to unfold. No matter how much Jiang Dantang apologized, 182 stripped off everything. But what followed was not what Jiang Dantang had imagined. After undressing, 182 handed the clothes to Jiang Dantang. Put them on. Only then did Jiang Dantang notice the sculpted muscles covering 182's body. He realized that from now on, he would have to be extremely careful with his words around. Jiang Dantang hesitated, then asked, "If I wear this, it'll be hard for the rescue team to find me, right?" Prisoner 182 said quietly, "No rescue team is coming for you. Shoulder killed them all." Jiang Dantang froze. Shoulder? In Fergland, it's best not to stand out from the other inmates. Come on, it's about time to eat. The moment he heard that, Jiang Dantang felt a spark of hope. It was mealtime. If he ran into staff, he might find a way out. Meanwhile, the inmate who had taken Jiang Dantang's clothes was walking along, humming happily. At some point, someone appeared in front of him and asked coldly, "Tell me, where did those clothes come from?" The instant he recognized the man, the inmate dropped to his knees. "Lord Shoulder, I took them from a guy with glasses in Tofu Village. Looks like he just moved in." Tofu Village? So that's where he is. The inmate was about to show off his sharp-looking suit when Lord Shoulder drove a blade straight through his skull. Before long, the flesh mountain of a body collapsed to the ground, completely motionless. "I've finally found you, my dear teacher." Elsewhere, Jiang Dantang and 182 headed toward the cafeteria, passing through a gray forest of reinforced concrete, skin the same dull gray as camouflage, and eyes filled with hunger like those of wild beasts. Jiang Dantang trembled from head to toe. He had no idea what these beings really were. He couldn't tell whether they were human or animal, but one thing was clear: he had to stay close to. This was the world's largest prison, Fergland. Crows occasionally swept across the sky, making the place feel even more like a gray forest. Staring in shock, Jiang Dantang muttered, "Is this really a prison? This is way too strange. People can walk around freely, and some of them even look drunk. And those things up there, those are people, right? Not decorations? Wasn't Fergland built by multiple nations together? Does this kind of management actually make sense?" Prisoner 182 didn't answer. He only said calmly, "You're being a little loud." Jiang Dantang snapped back to reality and realized how insane he was to expect answers from this man. This was a kidnapper with the same crazed look as the others. Jiang Dantang kept reminding himself that the man in front of him was also a lunatic. He couldn't trust anyone. Fortunately, they encountered no trouble along the way and reached the cafeteria safely. Still, the scene here differed greatly from what Jiang Dantang had imagined. In a place this abnormal, the cafeteria felt strangely normal. Jiang Dantang guessed that guards might be managing the area, so he quickly looked ahead. In that instant, he froze. This ridiculous nightmare finally seemed close to ending. Judging by his outfit alone, the man standing at the end of the line was clearly a prison guard. But since Jiang Dantang was wearing inmate clothing, he had to show how he was different. As time passed, he slowly reached the front of the line. When it was his turn to receive food, he deliberately lowered his voice. "Officer, I'm a teacher assigned to inmate education. My name is Jiang Dantang. There was a riot, and I was kidnapped by this hooded man beside me. You should know about the disturbance. Please report this. I'm the missing teacher, Jiang Dantang." No matter what he said, the guard in front of him didn't respond. When Jiang Dantang finally looked up, he noticed something was wrong. The man's eyes were vacant, and saliva dripped from his mouth. Jiang Dantang couldn't understand why fate was mocking him like this. "If you're not eating, get lost." The ladle came down hard on Jiang Dantang's head. Even after returning with his food, Jiang Dantang couldn't recover from the shock. That man clearly looked like a guard, but his eyes and mental state were completely off. Yet everyone else wore inmate uniforms. Only that man wore a guard's outfit. As Jiang Dantang searched for other guards, he suddenly realized several inmates were watching him. A sense of dread sank in. If this continued, he would be trapped here forever. watching 182 devour his food beside him. Jiang Danteng came up with an idea and called out to him. Didn't you say you wanted to learn how to grow sweet potatoes? I can teach you, but in return, you have to help me get out of here. It was the last option Jiang Danteng could think of, using 182's foolishness. 182 replied seriously, do you really think I'm an idiot? One sweet potato won't buy you a way out. Panicking, Jiang Danteng explained, of course not. Didn't you say you brought me here to learn how to grow them? If I teach you, there's no reason for me to stay. And you drag me in, you should take some responsibility. After a moment of thought, 182 finally said, to leave this place, you must become a super leader. Jiang Danteng was confused. What's a super leader? Like a squad captain? 182 answered bluntly, someone like you won't make it. Jiang Danteng replied flatly, I never said I wanted the job. Jiang Danteng pressed on. So only super leaders can contact the outside world? 182 raised his fork and said coldly, promote or perish. That's the only way out. Jiang Danteng asked urgently, what does that mean exactly? Can you explain? But no matter how he pressed, prisoner 182 refused to speak. Stop asking. Realizing he would get nothing, Jiang Danteng's expression turned cold. So you never planned to help me, did you? Then there's no reason for me to stay by your side. I need to leave this filthy place as soon as possible, and you'll regret this. If I get out, you won't escape the law. My family. He stopped himself midway. Arguing with inmates wasn't worth it. At that moment, an unfamiliar voice rang out. Teacher, are you Mr. Jiang? Instantly, every head in the cafeteria turned toward the entrance. Hope flared in Jiang Danteng's chest. They're here. The rescue team is finally here. I'm here. I'm Jiang Danteng. He shouted, sprinting toward the door like a madman. He believed that once he reached it, the nightmare would be over. I'm a public high school science teacher, 32 years old. I'm right here. But to his horror, those who arrived were not rescuers at all, but another group of inmates. In that instant, panic consumed him. He had run from one hell straight into another. Then Lord Shoulder bent down and spoke slowly. Long time no see, Mr. Jiang. Do you remember me? I took your sweet potato class back then. As the man approached, Jiang Danteng retreated step by step. How could he forget him? It was the first time he had ever seen a human this tall. Murmurs spread around him. It's Lord Shoulder. The man was one of the 6 shoulders of Zone Zero. As imposing as his height suggested, his name was Tower. Only then did Jiang Danteng fully recall how this man had slaughtered the guards. When bullets were fired at him, Tower didn't dodge. He casually grabbed a nearby companion instead. With an eerie smile, Tower said, Isn't this a bit rude? We volunteered to attend classes, yet you showed up with guns. Since you fired first, there's no reason for me to bother with manners. Under everyone's gaze, Tower pulled a knife out of his own mouth. What followed was a massacre. This man was a complete madman. Recalling those scenes, Jiang Danteng dropped to his knees. Why did you come looking for me? Tower replied calmly. Why else? To have you continue teaching, of course. But let me be clear, I'm not interested in sweet potatoes. Let's study something meaningful instead. For example, how to make fog. As he spoke, Tower handed 3 blue spheres to Jiang Danteng. The moment the spheres appeared, the inmates' eyes lit up. It's fog, and a massive one at that. Jiang Danteng suddenly remembered the inmate who had caused the riot. He had mentioned fog as well. Could the fog they spoke of be these blue spheres? To be sure, Jiang Danteng asked, what exactly are these blue spheres? Tower looked shocked. You're asking me what they are? You seriously don't know? Impossible. You're a science teacher. Aren't teachers supposed to know everything? Jiang Danteng shouted. I've never seen anything like this. Nothing like it exists in the outside world. Tower answered coldly. That's why we went to class. For fog, the 6 shoulders gathered. The purpose of those lessons was to bring you back. It's fine if you don't know what fog is. We can start learning now. As he spoke, Tower forcefully tried to shove the blue spheres into Jiang Danteng's mouth. The surrounding inmates drooled at the sight. Get that away from me. I said I don't want it. Jiang Danteng yelled, pushing Tower's hand aside. The instant the three spheres flew away, every inmate's eyes blazed. They rushed toward the spheres like lunatics. Jiang Dantang stared in disbelief at the insane scene. For those so-called pieces of fog, inmates who had seemed normal moments ago were now fighting viciously. Tower looked unsurprised. See? Everyone craves fog. Fog is gold. It's a blessing from God. That old bastard swallowed it. Damn it, spit it out. Spit it out now. No matter how they screamed, the old man who swallowed the fog stood perfectly still. Others began tearing into him. His body was ripped apart, yet the old man remained frozen in the same posture. Tower even thought to himself how filthy those people from Tofu Village were, to go mad over a single piece of fog. As for that old man, today he would either ascend or gain astonishing abilities, assuming there was enough fog. Well, you're interested too, aren't you? Only then did the tower notice that Jiang Dantang's body was trembling nonstop. Maybe it was the nauseating scene, or maybe it was the contact with the fog, but he suddenly retched and vomited all over the floor. Jiang Dantang had almost forgotten why he came to a place like this in the first place. Right now, all he wanted was to go home. The tower asked in confusion, "What are you talking about?" Jiang Dantang replied, shaking, "Home. I want to go home. I can't do it. I've never even seen that thing before. I'm not a scientist. I'm just an ordinary teacher." The tower clearly didn't believe him. Don't be ridiculous. TV says teachers can make ultra-high purity drugs and sell them. Jiang Dantang answered in pain, "That's just TV drama. And that guy was a chemistry professor. I'm not the same. I'm just an ordinary high school teacher who doesn't even have a PhD." The moment Jiang Dantang shouted those words, the surroundings fell into deathly silence. "So you're saying you're useless? I was the first one to find a teacher. I really thought I was going to win. I thought I could become a super leader." As he spoke, the tower slowly pulled the knife out of his mouth. Turns out this guy is nothing but a complete waste. At that instant, Jiang Dantang recalled scenes of his family scolding him. A completely useless person, actually going to get a teaching certification. What, planning to play house with a bunch of kids? No one in our family has a degree lower than a PhD. Are you trying to disgrace the family? 6 years without publishing a single academic paper. What can you possibly teach? Dantang, stop running away. Spend one more year preparing a new paper. His older brother stepped in. "Mom, Dad, you don't have to say it like that. Being a teacher isn't such a bad thing. At least let him do something he's capable of." The one suffering the most here is Dantang. It's already been 6 years, and he still hasn't earned a PhD. Still, knowing your limits count for something. Jiang Dantang's father was a renowned scholar who frequently appeared on television, and his mother held a PhD in law, while his older brother had already become the president of a psychology association at a young age. And Jiang Dantang himself had earned the respect of countless people at the lectern. Yet once he returned home, his status was not even as good as a dog's. Until that day, when everything took a turn. His father looked at the document in his hand and asked, "An international prison. What is that supposed to be?" Jiang Dantang replied, "A prison under the United Nations. I'll be teaching there. It's a UN-affiliated institution, and the benefits are very generous." His older brother chimed in, "I know that place. It's called Fergland, right? Impressive. I've heard all the world's lunatics are locked up there." Jiang Dantang cut him off. "No matter where those people are, they're just trying to survive." His mother said worriedly, "Dantang, do you really have to go? You already have a stable job at school. That puts my mind at ease." His father questioned angrily, "Why? What are you doing? What kind of nonsense is this?" Jiang Dantang answered with firm resolve, "Because I believe that giving people who lack education a chance to learn is something deeply meaningful for us educators." The moment Jiang Dantang finished speaking, his older brother couldn't help but spit out the red wine in his mouth. "Sorry about that. Got wine on my clothes. Hard not to, after hearing your so-called grand declaration. But Dantang, you know this isn't driven by any professional ethics of an educator. It's just a momentary impulse born from your need for recognition, isn't it? You didn't earn a PhD, so you're using these eccentric choices to excuse yourself?" pretending that you chose a different path and dressing it up with a fake sense of mission. You're trying to hide your incompetence this way so you can stand on equal footing with us. Am I wrong? Jiang Danteng glared at his brother in anger. Why do you always judge others by your own standards? His brother explained, I'm just worried about you. This is reckless, an act of blind courage born of insecurity, which is exactly your foolish sense of justice. Only at this moment did Jiang Danteng finally realize that his brother was right, that he himself had been too foolish. Back then, it was a foolish choice made on impulse. But now it was far too late to say anything. He was about to pay the price for his actions, about to die. To him, dying in that filthy, garbage-filled, despicable place was the price Jiang Danteng had to pay. All of it stemmed from ignorance, from a lack of education. However, Jiang Danteng failed to notice number 182 quietly raising the fork in his hand. The instant the tower swung his blade, something like a bullet pierced straight through his arm. Having brushed past death, Jiang Danteng was already so terrified that he had wet his pants, while the tower let out a howl of pain. A gun? Who dare bring a gun in here? Just as he tried to find the bastard who had smuggled in a gun, someone grabbed him by the hair. The attacker was none other than number 182, and the so-called gun was nothing more than the fork he had thrown. Before everyone's stunned eyes, number 182 drove a knee straight into the tower's neck. Everyone heard the sound of bones snapping and saw the tower slowly collapsing. The prisoners present all wore expressions of disbelief. The mighty lord's shoulder, the once untouchable tower, had fallen. Jiang Danteng could hardly believe it. Number 182, who had always been by his side, was actually this powerful. A new shoulder has been born, someone shouted, breaking the surrounding silence. In an instant, the prisoners throughout the cafeteria surged toward number 182. New shoulder, say your name. Please, tell us your name. Number 182 merely looked at Jiang Danteng. Teacher, let's go. Did you all hear that? Teacher. The new shoulder is the teacher. Jiang Danteng truly hadn't expected that he would survive that madman. Thinking of this, he suddenly looked at number 182 beside him. Though the guy looked skinny and usually unremarkable, his strength was terrifying. Jiang Danteng asked, You asked me to teach you how to make roasted sweet potatoes before. That was a lie, wasn't it? Why did you sign up for class in the first place? You did to get fog too, right? Can you make fog? The moment he asked, Jiang Danteng shuddered in fear. I can't make fog. I'm sorry. Please let me go. Number 182's reason for attending class was simple. That day when he went out, he saw a long line. He didn't know what it was for, but out of habit, he told the person in front of him to get lost, only to be told that cutting in line wasn't allowed. Someone from outside came and said they're holding classes here. They say slots are limited. Get to the back of the line. Number 182 hadn't been interested at first, but the man told him that if he attended the classes, they would hand out new clothes, saying that this was the first event like this in years and that he might even learn something impressive. And so, with a look of anticipation, number 182 squeezed into the long line. Jiang Danteng was shocked. That's your reason for going to class? Then why did you save me just now? Number 182 explained, I wasn't saving you. I was saving my new clothes. You didn't teach me anything, and you even peed your pants while wearing my new clothes. Only then did Jiang Danteng realize that he had been so tense earlier that he had actually wet his pants. Not long after, a naked prisoner came running out of the bathhouse. While Jiang Danteng, still inside, washed clothes and said, Now I have my own clothes too. I'll wash yours clean and return them as soon as I can. But does that tattered outfit you're wearing have some special meaning? Now that you already have new clothes, why keep it? Number 182 pointed at the mark on his chest. This is mine. Jiang Danteng replied, I know, but it's already in that state. Why not throw it away? Number 182 stressed it again. Look, 182 is written on it. That makes it mine. This one also has 182 written on it. That's mine too. Both of them are mine. Jiang Danteng was left speechless. He simply couldn't understand number 182. So you're saying this dirty piece of clothing is precious too? Or is it because you only have one arm and it's hard for you to wash clothes? I'm not trying to say you're missing an arm. Forget it. I'll wash it for you. Jiang Danteng said nothing more, only scrubbing the clothes in silence. In the blink of an eye, he had already spent a full day in Fergland. Although he desperately wanted to escape, according to the information he had, the monsters known as shoulders were searching for him. And those creatures had likely learned his location through today's disturbance. So Jiang Danteng had to leave the next day. Having eaten nothing all day, his stomach growled at the worst possible moment. As Jiang Danteng lowered his head, he suddenly spotted a sweet potato, the one he had handed out to number 182 during class. He wondered whether he should eat it now. Trading sweet potatoes with number 182 was no longer an option anyway. He never imagined he would one day be reduced to scavenging food like this. But no matter what, surviving came first. Just as Jiang Danteng was about to take a bite, something gray flashed past, and number 182, who had been lying on the upper bunk, suddenly poked his head out. "Do you want to die?" Jiang Danteng hurriedly explained, "I'm just too hungry. Can you spare me a bit to eat? Just one bite." "Not even one bite," number 182 said as he jumped down. "This is mine." After landing, number 182 carved his number into the sweet potato. Jiang Danteng was left speechless. "Do you even know how to grow sweet potatoes? You probably don't even know what growing means." Number 182 replied, "If you kill my sweet potato, I'll kill you. Close your eyes. I'm hiding my sweet potato now." Watching number 182, Jiang Danteng guessed his vocabulary was barely kindergarten level, his behavior almost primitive. Then it occurred to him, maybe a number 182 like this would be even more useful to him. What if that sweet potato in your hands is doomed to die anyway? Why? Number 182, who had been busy hiding it, froze mid-motion. When you carved your name into it, you left a wound. The sweet potato is already injured, and it'll get a very terrible disease called oxidation. From number 182's expression, Jiang Danteng knew his little trick had worked. But don't worry, there's still a way to save it. Since our deal fell through, I wasn't planning to tell you, but I'll let you in on a bit. If you want to grow sweet potatoes, you need sunlight. The fog in Fergland is far too thick. Sunlight can't get in at all, so you need to go somewhere where the fog is thinner. Number 182 said, but Tofu Village already has the least fog around here. Jiang Danteng pointed at the clothesline. That's still not enough. Look, the clothes here can't even dry. If you really want to save the sweet potato, you'll have to go at least as far as that massive iron gate, the entrance to Fergland. Only then can you save it. Meanwhile, a prisoner was hammering away at something, muttering about how long it would take to fix. What he was repairing was none other than the former shoulder, the tower. The prisoner doing the repairs replied, "Don't worry. We've already brought in the best architect. The tower cursed, idiots. You should be looking for Doctor. Damn it. What the hell happened in the cafeteria back then?" The abilities the tower gained from massive amounts of fog made his spine harder than reinforced steel. Yet the neck bones he took such pride in had been snapped in a single blow by some unknown bastard. That idiot teacher is definitely dead. I need to catch that punk now. He's surely hoarding a huge amount of fog somewhere. Just then a voice rang out. Didn't expect you'd actually find the teacher. Following the sound, the newcomer was none other than the person who had triggered the riot during class earlier. When they saw who it was, everyone nearby trembled in fear as he continued. Didn't expect even your precious neck bones would get broken. The tower shot back, same as ever, sneaking into someone else's turf like a rat. The man replied in confusion, "Weren't we allies? Didn't we agree to share intel once a teacher was found?" The tower sneered, "Cut the crap. The only one who'll ever become super leader is me." Hearing that, the man grew angry. "Don't make me laugh. With your level, don't even dream about it." With that, he snatched the hammer from the architect's hand. The tower panicked. "Isn't this a bit much? Attacking an injured man is pretty despicable, isn't it? I just can't help wanting to crush trash when I see it." Saying that, he brought the hammer down on the tower's neck while it was still being repaired. The one who had sparked the prison riot turned out to be the Hound, one of the 6 shoulders of Zone Zero. Before long, all of the tower's men were wiped out. And the killer was the Hound alone. This was the gap between a shoulder and ordinary people. When the Hound came out, his subordinates were already waiting at the door. The Hound ordered move out. Target, Tofu Village. Amid the roar of engines, the Hound, one of the 6 shoulders, began his operation. Meanwhile, Jiang Danteng and number 182 were each carrying a sack as they walked. Jiang Danteng couldn't help complaining, "This thing's way too heavy. What's even inside?" Number 182 replied, without lifting his head, "That's my stuff." Jiang Danteng frowned and pressed on, "What? Does this bag have 182 written on it too? By the way, Mr. 182, what's your name?" Number 182 replied, "One-armed." Jiang Danteng looked utterly stunned. "You gotta be kidding me." Number 182 said calmly, "That's what they all call me." So Jiang Danteng asked again, "Don't you have a name of your own?" Number 182 repeated, word by word, "That's what they all call me." Jiang Danteng replied, "Calling you that is really rude. I'll just call you No. By the way, Mr. 182, why do you always wear that hood? Are you a thief or a robber? And how did you end up in Fergland in the first place?" "I've always been here." "Always been here? What does that even mean? Why do you ask so many questions? Aren't teachers supposed to answer questions? Teachers have questions too. You talk too much, and you're too loud. It's an occupational habit. Shut up." After walking for who knew how long, Jiang Danteng finally couldn't go on. "Let's rest for a bit. I'm so hungry, I don't even have the strength anymore. How much farther is the entrance? We've been walking forever. Why does it feel like we're just going in circles?" Number 182 said calmly, "I don't know the way." Hearing that, Jiang Danteng was stunned. "What did you say? Why are you only telling me now? So we've just been circling around here for the past 2 hours? This is driving me crazy. I can't walk anymore. If you still want to save your sweet potato, then carry me or help me find something to eat." But the moment Jiang Danteng finished speaking, number 182 collapsed straight forward. Seeing him fall, Jiang Danteng scrambled up. "What are you doing?" When number 182 showed no response at all, panic set in. "182, what's wrong with you?" The instant he pulled off the hood, Jiang Danteng couldn't believe his eyes. Number 182's gaze was completely vacant, with saliva and mucus spilling out uncontrollably. "What's happening? Why did you suddenly end up like this?" "No, wake up, please." Unable to rouse number 182, Jiang Danteng instinctively looked back. "Don't leave me here alone." Staring at the gray forest behind him, he was swallowed by deep terror. "Don't leave me here alone. You bastard, wake up, please. I'm begging you, wake up." Lost in endless panic, Jiang Danteng had completely forgotten number 182's warning. Before, his loud voice had already drawn others' attention, and this time was no different. Before he could react, a powerfully built figure had already landed behind them. Jiang Danteng instinctively tried to turn around to see the person's face, but all that filled his vision was a massive finger. And before he could do anything, those hands forced his eyelids open. "Are you a normal person?" The man's sudden question left Jiang Danteng confused. "What are you talking about?" "Sorry, that was rude of me." The man slowly withdrew his hand. "There was a lot of noise here just now, so I got curious about what happened." After a brief exchange, the man took Jiang Danteng back to his place, where he finally ate proper food. "Take it slow. Don't choke. There's plenty more." Jiang Danteng knew he had finally met normal people. "Thank you for saving my life." After introductions, he learned the man's name was Lab Yuda, and the girl's name was Liqui. "My name is Jiang Danteng. This is the first time since I got here that I've met people I can actually talk to, and I didn't expect there to be women here." Liqui asked, "Do I really look like a girl?" Jiang Danteng asked back in surprise, "Aren't you?" Liqui continued, "To look more like a man, I deliberately cut my hair short. In Tofu Village, women attract too much attention." Lab Yuda explained, "We're from the inner districts. The closer you get to the central areas, the blurrier the idea of gender becomes." Jiang Danteng asked, "Are there many normal people like you near the center?" Lab Yuda smiled, "Not exactly. Tofu Village is mostly made up of marginalized people, so a lot of them aren't very stable mentally. By the way, are you new here? Or have you never touched fog at all?" "Actually, I'm not a prisoner." Hearing that, Labuta froze. The situation's complicated. Even I don't know all the details. What I do know is that I was kidnapped, and the one who abducted me is that guy lying over there. So you're saying you were dragged into Fergland? Seeing Jiang Danteng nod, Labuta reacted immediately. Don't tell me. You're a victim of the teacher kidnapping operation? Jiang Danteng panicked a little. How do you know about that? Labuta replied, everyone knows. It was planned in advance by the shoulders. They even sent people to stop others from attending class. Jiang Danteng couldn't help asking, then what exactly are the guards here even doing? Didn't expect the protagonist to be standing right in front of me. Jiang Danteng asked cautiously, this might be rude, but you're not spies sent by the shoulders, are you? Of course not. Liqui then pointed at No. So what actually happened? I've never seen a shoulder like him. He's not a shoulder, is he? Jiang Danteng explained. He kidnapped me because he wanted me to teach him how to grow sweet potatoes. The two burst out laughing. Seriously? Not for Fog. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Of all things, sweet potatoes. Seeing them laugh, Jiang Danteng felt tears well up. He never imagined he'd meet people here who could actually understand him. Labuta steadied himself and asked, so, are you being held captive by him right now? Jiang Danteng replied, not exactly. He's more like my bodyguard at the moment. I don't know if it's heat stroke or something else. He just suddenly collapsed like this. Liqui explained, that's a dissociation state. Jiang Danteng looked confused. What's a dissociation state? She continued, a withdrawal reaction. Withdrawal caused by fog. You've seen people collapse by the roadside, right? They couldn't get any fog, so they entered a dissociation state. They usually wake up after a while, but if it keeps happening, their brains gradually melt. Jiang Danteng asked, then what exactly is this fog you keep talking about? Hearing that, Labuta and Liqui exchanged disbelieving looks. Do you really know nothing about Fergland at all? The fog we're talking about is a divine drug that grants abilities. It awakens powers hidden deep inside, or long desired. Jiang Danteng was stunned. That thing really works? Labuta went on. Not only does it work, it lets you surpass human limits. With that power, we can escape. Only then did Jiang Danteng notice Labuta's calves, thick beyond anything human. Meanwhile, the Hound, one of the shoulders of Zone 0, arrived at number 182's home. Looks like they didn't get far. They're still in Tofu Village. The scene returned to Jiang Danteng, who was still reeling from the information he'd just learned. And only then did he fully process what Labuta meant by escaping. Labuta asked, so, Mr. Danteng, will you come with us? Jiang Danteng waved it off. I really appreciate the offer, but I'm not a prisoner. I want to see the guards here, or whoever's in charge. His reasoning was simple. If he escaped with prisoners, he'd become an accomplice. If it worked, fine, but if it failed, the outcome was obvious. Labuta seemed to read his thoughts. You won't see them, whether guards, officials, or any of the others. None of them will ever set foot in Fergland. Fog is addictive. One wrong step, and you'll never be able to leave it behind. You're no exception, Mr. Danteng. Jiang Danteng asked anxiously why. I've never used fog, and I never plan to. Labuta explained, this has nothing to do with your intentions. How long have you been here? 2 days. 3? Have you ever wondered what this fog, thick enough to swallow everything, actually is? This dense fog itself is made of fog particles. The moment he heard that, Jiang Danteng instinctively covered his mouth and nose. Fog is a divine substance that grants abilities. And to make those abilities manifest, you have to take in large amounts of it. But when it comes to addiction, even breathing in the fog particles in the air is already enough. Fog slowly corrodes your lungs, making you crave more, thicker, denser fog without pause. And once you can't get it, you'll enter a dissociation state. Jiang Danteng cut in immediately. Wait, are you saying I'm already addicted to fog? Then doesn't that mean I'm basically doomed? Labuta replied, no, Mr. Danteng. You still have a chance. Only those who've actually experienced a dissociation state are considered truly addicted. Everyone's constitution is different, so we don't know the exact threshold, but you must stay vigilant at all times. Jiang Danteng pressed on. Then by that logic, can you really escape? Aren't you already addicted to fog, with no way back? Liqui answered, "You're right. We've long since lost the chance to turn back, and we've never heard of anyone leaving this place alive. Maybe in some distant future, we'll overcome the addiction, or maybe someone will uncover the truth here and create an antidote to fog." No matter what, they had made a promise to never die here. Even if the rest of their lives were spent in a dissociation state, even if they lost themselves completely, they would still hold each other tightly beneath a clear sky. It sounded a little cheesy, but there was no doubt they meant every word of it. As the two embraced tightly, Jiang Danteng suddenly noticed that number 182, who had been unconscious, was awake again, and his gaze was fixed straight past them, locked onto Jiang Danteng. Panic crept in. With these two helping him, he wouldn't need to waste any more effort on sweet potatoes. But he was afraid. If he told number 182 he planned to escape with them, he might be attacked. After all, the strength number 182 had shown before was genuinely terrifying. Yet to his surprise, number 182 made no reckless move at all. He simply pulled the sweet potato out of his pocket in silence. The calmer number 182 appeared, the more uneasy Jiang Danteng felt. Then Labuda's voice snapped him back. "Mr. Danteng, why are you so scared? He's just a walking corpse driven astray by fog. Once someone enters a dissociation state, they're completely powerless until they get their next dose of fog. Right now, he's not even a match for you." Jiang Danteng let out a breath of relief. "That's a relief. I was worried the two of you might get hurt." Almost the instant the words left his mouth, Labuda's leg was already aimed at number 182 lying on the bed. "If he's a potential threat, should I kill him now?" Number 182, however, showed no fear at all, even in this crisis. Seeing this, Jiang Danteng immediately interrupted. "Wait, there's no need to kill anyone right now. Listen carefully. I'm leaving this place. I don't want to live here anymore. From now on, we go our separate ways. Do you understand?" Number 182 replied blankly. "If you leave, what happens to the sweet potato?" Without another word, Jiang Danteng snatched the sweet potato from number 182's hand, then walked over to the sink. "Can I borrow a cup?" He placed the sweet potato into a cup filled with water and held it out to No. "That'll do. From here on, it'll grow slowly. Of course, sunlight is essential. Take your precious friend to see the sun. Go, before it gets dark." Number 182 turned to Jiang Danteng. "But I don't know the way." Jiang Danteng replied at once. "Neither do I." As he spoke, he pulled number 182 over in front of Labuda and said urgently, "Mr. Labuda, please take him away. I'll go with you. Whether the guards aim guns at me or label me an accomplice in your escape, I want to try." After Jiang Danteng said this, Labuda sent number 182 away, together with the sweet potato, leaving him mercilessly abandoned by the roadside. There was still no expression on number 182's face. He simply stared at the sweet potato. The spot carved with 182 already darkened. The water-filled cup cracked from the fall. Looking at it, number 182 remembered the girl's words. "Do you know what a puppy is? What about a kitten? They're animals just like crows. They're fluffy, very small, very cute. If someone keeps them, they can understand human words. If you tell them, 'Come here,' they'll run over." As the girl spoke, she placed her hand on number 182's head. "I want to keep a puppy too, someday after I get out." She cried as she said it. Remembering this, number 182 reached out toward the sweet potato. "Come here." Meanwhile, somewhere else, someone was measuring something. 20 centimeters. It moved 20 centimeters. Did it really move? Following their gaze, there lay a corpse bitten clean in half. The culprit was the huge, grotesque thing holding the body. That person looks like they were trying to escape. On the other side, Jiang Danteng and the others began discussing how to escape. Jiang Danteng asked, "What's your plan? How are we getting out of this prison?" "I'll just show you," Labuda said as he slowly crouched down. The muscles in his calves began to swell, and the instant he exerted force, his body shot forward like a cannonball. Jiang Danteng could hardly believe his eyes. What kind of ability is that? No matter what, The massive hole in the ceiling was undeniably real. Labuda's power was an astonishing jump. Our plan is simple. We jump straight over that wall. After returning, Labuda led the two of them to higher ground in Tofu Village. Now it's Laqui's turn. She gently tapped the small sphere on her head, and her eyes immediately began to glow. Right after that, she drew a map of Tofu Village on a sheet of paper. Because the two of them came from the inner zone, even after adding several extra sheets, the map was still packed with detail. Staring at it, Jiang Dantang exclaimed, "This is an ability that recreates what you see like a photograph." "Did you map out all of Fergland?" Laqui replied, "This is the route we took from the inner zone to here. It only records part of Fergland." Jiang Dantang couldn't help feeling surprised. "If this is only a part of it, then just how big is Fergland?" Laqui said, "Judging by the size of Tofu Village, we've already come far enough. We should reach Fergland's edge before long." At that moment, Jiang Dantang picked up Laqui's pen. "You missed something." As he spoke, he drew 4 stick figures. "There are 4 drifters here." Laqui snatched the pen back and said sternly, "Don't scribble on it." Jiang Dantang explained, "I'm marking potential dangers." "And didn't you draw something strange too? What's that red thing?" The moment those words were spoken, the two of them fell into brief silence. Labuda was the first to break it. "Forget it. We'll be out of here soon anyway. Laqui, which way do we go next?" After Laqui pointed out the direction, Labuda grabbed both of them and launched into the air, while Laqui continued scanning the surroundings with her ability. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to the 4 drifters Jiang Dantang had just marked on the map. "Is there any fog over there?" Hearing the question, the 4 drifters slowly raised their heads. The one who had spoken was none other than 182, the man Labuda had dumped by the roadside. The 4 stared at him and asked, "Where did this guy come from?" 182 only repeated, "Do you have any fog?" They shot back, "Do I look like I do, idiot?" 182 replied, "Then empty your pockets." One of them finally snapped and slapped 182 across the face. "What the hell are you talking about? I'm starving to death, and you still dare to come here looking for trouble?" Having just gone through a dissociation state, 182 stood no chance against them and could only endure the beating. Then another man approached with a spoon. "Wait, I'm hungry too. How about we eat this guy? I heard there's fog inside the human body. Even bone eaters will eat people for fog." The other 2 hesitated. "Are we really going to eat a person? Isn't lunchtime almost here?" The man with the spoon cursed, "A bunch of cowards. If it gets us fog, we try anything. Where should I start? Should I drink his blood first? No, I should eat his eyes." Just as he was about to act, a hand slapped him hard across the face. The one who struck him was none other than Hound, the man who had chased 182 to his home earlier. That single blow stunned all 4 drifters. The one who took it head-on even had his eardrum burst. Only then did the drifters realize who was standing before them. He was Hound, one of the 6 shoulders of Zone Zero. In an instant, the remaining 3 fled in panic, scrambling away without daring to linger. Hound ignored them and slowly crouched in front of. "So I finally found you. You damn baghead." It all went back to the day the riot broke out. The prisoners slaughtered the guards who rushed in, but Hound, the true instigator, was the first to reach Jiang Dantang. From the very beginning, his target had been the teacher. While the others were busy brutalizing the guards, he quietly took Jiang Dantang away. Without a doubt, the greatest beneficiary of the operation was Hound himself. He cursed the other shoulders in his heart for being fools. None of them even noticed the teacher was gone. Thinking back on it, Hound remembered Tower, the man who once used his own brother as a shield. It was that very act that made Hound decide to shatter their so-called alliance. Just then, he noticed someone following him. Confident in his own strength, he didn't retreat. Who do you work for? Judging by how you look, are you with the Bone Eaters? Or Drill's people? What caught Hound off guard was the strange question that came back at him. Are you here to grow sweet potatoes too? Hound frowned. What are you talking about? The baghead spoke again. You don't know? Why not ask the teacher? Hound finally snapped. What kind of nonsense are you spouting? My mood's already bad enough. You damn lunatic. But the baghead seemed not to hear him at all and kept going. Should we wake the teacher up? That was the last straw. Hound abandoned the teacher on the spot and charged straight at him. With the power of shoulder, no underling, no matter whose, could possibly dodge that punch. Yet to Hound's shock, the seemingly deranged baghead slipped past the blow at point-blank range. And judging by his eyes, it clearly wasn't luck. Hound had never taken 182 seriously, and he'd never considered what would happen if he missed. When that opening lay bare before 182, 182 struck without hesitation. From an absurd angle, he fired off a lightning-fast punch that slammed straight into Hound's ribs. The terrifying force sent Hound spinning across the ground like a top, and 182 seized the moment, scooping up Jiang, Dantang, and fleeing. Remembering that day only fueled Hound's rage further. "You damn baghead! Where did you hide the teacher?" When no answer came, Hound tore the bag off 182's head. The instant he saw 182's face, even Hound was startled. There was no doubt about it. This baghead was anything but normal. "You twisted bastard," making that kind of expression. 182 muttered in confusion. "Is there any fog?" Seeing this, Hound frowned. Did he enter a drifting state? With no other choice, Hound had 182 taken back to his territory. On the table inside sat a portrait, Didart, the former second-in-command of Hound's crew. The members of Hound's group were all gathered around, busy with something. That's already the third one. They had been torturing 182, trying to force him to reveal the teacher's whereabouts. "You little bastard still dare point your toe at me? Tell us, where's the teacher?" Lying on the ground, 182 trembled. "Give me fog and I'll tell you." Still talking tough? Break another finger and see how long he lasts. All 5 fingers are already gone? Then move on to the toes. If you don't want to walk on your ass, start talking. At this point, if he can't even feel pain, we might as well give him a dose of fog. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. The speaker was Slick, the new second-in-command. Hound rejected it outright. "No, absolutely not." Slick frowned. "What's there to be afraid of? He's just a scrawny runt. In his current state, he can't fight back at all." Hound expression hardened. "You're thinking too simply. You really think he's just weak? Look at those muscle lines like they were carved with a blade. That body's been forged through endless training. His body fat's probably under 5%. Someone nearby commented, "Looks good. Perfect lines. But what's the point? No fat means it hurts even more." Hound replied coldly, "Haven't you noticed? He doesn't seem to feel pain at all." Slick continued, "The other shoulders are already moving. Word that the teachers in Tofu Village is spreading. If he falls into another shoulder's hands, we're finished. Especially since you were the one who broke the alliance first. No matter how you look at it, killing Tower went too far." Hound exploded. "You say I went too far? Anyone who harms my brothers will pay in blood. Don't let me hear that crap again." Slick hurried to explain. "That's not what I meant. Think carefully. Our ultimate goal is fog, isn't it?" To Dart's death, before he could finish, Hound slammed his fist onto the table. Slick visibly flinched. "I won't let Didart die for nothing. For our fallen brother, we'll ascend together." To Didart. With that, Hound drained the beer in his hand in one gulp. Seeing this, the members of Hound's crew had tears welling up in their eyes. But at that very moment, Hound, who had just downed the beer, suddenly gagged and vomited it all out. The liquid splashed over Didart's portrait, as if even he were shedding tears. The others rushed over in concern. "What's wrong, Hound? Even Didart's portrait." "Hound, are you okay?" Hound waved them off. "Don't make a fuss. I just choked a little." Despite his words, the look on his face was clearly forced. In truth, during that brief clash with 182, the precise strike had slipped past his ribs and landed squarely on his liver. Hound was certain of it. Ever since that day, his liver function had noticeably declined. Thinking of this, he suddenly smashed the empty bottle against 182's head. "Listen carefully. I don't care what the others think. You can't fool my eyes. That wasn't luck. That was technique. Especially in Fergland, where people only trust powers born of fog and settle everything with fists. That kind of rapid suppression and vital point targeting, that's Kamaga combat, isn't it? I'm not wrong." Hearing this, 182 slowly raised his head. "Not just your technique, your shoes give you away too." Whether it's the military-style fighting or those combat boots on your feet, everything points to one thing: you're a soldier. Meanwhile, Jiang Dantang and his group, who were attempting to escape, finally came to a halt. Not because they were blocked, but because they had reached the boundary of Fergland. In that instant, Jiang Dantang's eyes lit up. He hadn't expected to actually see the edge. If he could cross that wall, he would leave Fergland behind and the nightmare would finally end. Just then, Labuda grabbed him by the arm. Pulling him into the shadows, Labuda spoke in a low voice. "Mr. Jiang Dantang, calm down. Do you see that?" Following his gaze, Jiang Dantang saw a watchtower standing at Fergland's boundary. "Do you think there's anyone inside that watchtower?" Jiang Dantang replied, "I don't know. If there really is someone there, how about I walk over alone from here and test it?" Ricky rejected the idea immediately. "Don't talk nonsense. What could you possibly do going alone? Knock on the door? The moment you get close, they'll open fire and execute you on the spot as an escaping prisoner." Exactly. Almost the instant the words left their mouths, everyone suddenly realized there was someone standing at their feet. "What is that thing? A sweet potato? You bastard, don't call me sweet potato." Hearing that, Jiang Dantang finally recognized who it was. This was the same guy who had been the first to disrupt his class that day. "I know him. He was one of my students." "Mr. Jiang, step back." As Labuda spoke, he moved in front of them. "Be careful. This guy is dangerous. He's a shoulder too." "He's a shoulder?" Jiang Dantang couldn't believe it. That ridiculous-looking sweet potato head was actually a shoulder. The next second, dense footsteps echoed from all directions. A group of strange figures wearing road barriers on their heads appeared. After surrounding the group, they removed the barriers and neatly placed them on the ground. Judging by the setup, it looked less like a fight and more like a construction site being prepared. Once his men were in position, the sweet potato head finally emerged fully from the ground. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Drill. To be honest, I'm the man closest to becoming a super leader." As Drill spoke, he lunged straight at Jiang Dantang. "Teacher, come with me." In Jiang Dantang's eyes, Drill's hand seemed to swell larger and larger. At the critical moment, Labuda grabbed Jiang Dantang by the collar and yanked him back. "Are you kidding me? The ones taking the teacher are us." Caught completely off guard, Drill was sent flying by a single kick from Labuda. Drill staggered to his feet in shock. "Who the hell are you? There's no way someone this strong comes from Tofu Village." Labuda replied coldly, "Stay out of my way. I found him first." As he spoke, he shielded Jiang Dantang behind him. Drill jumped up in rage. "What did you crawl out from? Don't you know what the word shoulder is worth around here?" After saying that, Drill struck a pose that looked almost like a ballet stance. Then he began spinning faster and faster. Under the stunned gazes of everyone present, Drill suddenly leapt into the air and plunged straight into the ground like an actual drill bit. Immediately after, a crack raced toward the three of them at terrifying speed. Without a doubt, this was Drill's ability. Jiang Dantang barely had time to track the crack before Drill burst out from the ground behind him. Hearing the sound, Jiang Dantang whirled around, only to meet Drill's smiling face. Fortunately, Labuda reacted in time, yanking Jiang Dantang away while stomping down toward Drill. Too slow. Way too slow. Drill's speed was so extreme, it left afterimages. In terms of raw destructive power, Labuda might have been stronger, but in this situation, he couldn't even touch Drill. As Drill kept popping out of the ground again and again, Jiang Dantang crouched to the side, clutching his head in terror. But the situation didn't last long. At some point, Drill had already burrowed a hole beneath Labuda's feet. Without any chance to react, Labuda was rammed hard in the waist by Drill, erupting from below. The impact sent Labuda flying, his figure shrinking in the distance until he finally crashed through a wall and stopped. In her panic, Ricky couldn't help but shout Labuda's name. In an instant, everyone's attention snapped toward her. That was clearly a woman's voice. Ricky covered her mouth instinctively, but it was already too late. It's a woman. She's a woman. Even Drill, who was about to finish off Labuda, turned his head in surprise. One of the underlings eagerly reached out to tear at Ricky's clothes. She's female, no doubt about it. In seconds, the others crowded in. Should we take this woman with us too? Seeing this, Jiang Dantang was consumed by guilt. If not for him, the shoulders wouldn't have come, Lab Yuta wouldn't have been taken down, and Ricky's gender wouldn't have been exposed. The root of it all was his own desperate desire to escape. Lab Yuta and Ricky were the only truly normal people he had met here, and the ones who had saved his life. Stop it. Acting on instinct, Jiang Dantang grabbed a stone at his feet and hurled it at one of Drill's underlings. In that instant, everyone froze because no one had expected this seemingly useless man to fight back. Without question, Jiang Dantang was terrified. His body was still shaking uncontrollably. But deep down, he knew that if he did nothing now, he would regret it forever. What Ricky hadn't expected was that Jiang Dantang hadn't even dared to open his eyes when he threw the stone. After they escaped from the crowd, she stopped him immediately. Mr. Jiang Dantang, snap out of it. You're safe now. Don't talk, run. As she spoke, Ricky grabbed Jiang Dantang's hand and took off. Because of the chaos Jiang Dantang caused, Lab Yuta, who had been unconscious, finally came to, while Drill was still fixated on Ricky's beauty. That woman's really something. But almost the instant the words left Drill's mouth, Lab Yuta and Drill activated their abilities and charged forward at top speed. Lab Yuta instinctively wrapped his arms around Ricky, while Drill, who had just praised her looks, lunged straight at Jiang Dantang instead. Almost at the exact moment Lab Yuta landed, Jiang Dantang was dragged underground by Drill. Only then did Lab Yuta realize that Drill's earlier remark had been deliberate bait. Once Jiang Dantang was taken underground, there was no way for Lab Yuta to get him back. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to the Hound group's territory, where Hound was still interrogating, "Are you military or special forces?" Funny enough, before coming to Fergland, I had to claw my way out of a pile of corpses myself. After saying that, Hound didn't bother asking more. He gave a blunt order. Slick, kill him. Use whatever method you want. Just don't give him any mist. Slick was about to respond, but Hound had already slammed the door and left. Damn it. Slick's dissatisfaction was obvious. One of the underlings asked Slick, what now? Want me to handle it? Slick snapped back angrily. You idiot, what are you thinking? That irresponsible bastard Hound doesn't deserve to be our leader. Does the next super leader really have to be him? As long as there's enough mist, anyone has a chance. Ingyao, you're great at drawing, right? If you think about it, you could become a super leader too. Book, you as well. You know how to use your weight to your advantage. Every one of us has unique potential. Book asked hesitantly, then what about you, Slick? What's your potential? Slick replied confidently, I can feel my intelligence skyrocketing. Every morning I wake up more aware of just how stupid Hound really is. The age of rising through brute force is long over. This is the age of intelligence, where wisdom is the strongest power of all. One of the underlings asked, so what do we do now? Slick replied, relax. I'll find a teacher's location, but I don't plan on telling Hound. As for everything else, that's for you to decide. Think carefully about who you really want to follow. As he spoke, Slick crouched down in front of Hey Little Guy. Do you really want this that badly? He slowly pulled a piece of mist from his pocket. If you want it that much, I'll give it to you. But in exchange, you'll work for me. As for the teacher's information, we can talk about that after you recover. Materially speaking, I won't be stingy, so think it through. Because I never give anyone a second chance. As Slick said this, he swallowed the mist. But almost the instant he made the swallowing motion, 182's mouth was already at his throat. Slick never imagined that mist he had just swallowed could be bitten straight out of his windpipe by. It all happened too fast. The others in the Hound group didn't even see what occurred. Before their stunned eyes, Slick collapsed straight to the ground. The underlings rushed forward in panic. What happened? How did this happen? Why is his neck broken? Slick? At that moment, the Hound group heard a sound that sent chills down their spines. The fingers of 182, which had been snapped one by one, were being bitten back into place with his own teeth. Listening to the cracking of bones, cold sweat streamed down Ingyao's face. Everyone stared at 182, watching as he reattached his fingers one by one. If someone could possess such terrifying strength, even while in a dissociated state, what would he become after gaining mist? Meanwhile, underground, Jiang Dantang and Drill emerged from a pipeline. Once he regained his senses, Jiang Dantang slowly raised his head and looked at Drill. Only then did he realize Drill had been staring at him the entire time, surrounded by deathly silence. Drill slowly turned around. His underlings stood on both sides like mannequins. "Welcome to my underground kingdom." Jiang Dantang panicked. Labuta and Leaky already escaped. They must have gone far ahead. They had no reason to wait for me. I'm done for. All these thoughts flooded his mind, but when death truly felt imminent, he strangely calmed down instead. After a moment of silence, Drill broke it first. "Teacher, can you really make mist?" People in Tofu Village say you produced mist in an instant and snapped Tower's neck right after swallowing it. Jiang Dantang couldn't help wondering where these rumors he'd never even heard himself had come from. Is it true? Drill's slow voice cut through his thoughts, reminding him of Tower, who had once asked the same question, the madman who tried to kill him when he couldn't make mist. Jiang Dantang realized that if Drill learned the truth, he would die for sure. Of course I can. I made a massive cloud of mist on the spot and swallowed it. As for Tower, he collapsed at my feet like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But to Jiang Dantang's shock, Drill immediately exposed the lie. Enough of your nonsense. Listen carefully. I'm not an idiot like the other shoulders. A science teacher making mist? That's pure rumor. You're fraud. Jiang Dantang argued back. How can it be a rumor? If mist exists, why can't there be someone who creates it? Drill leaned in close. Because mist isn't something that's made. It fell from the sky one day. A gift bestowed by the gods. Seeing the longing on Drill's face, Jiang Dantang suddenly recalled a story he'd heard in the transport vehicle. 50 years ago, a meteor struck the desert. 5 years later, a prison called Fergland was built. Could it be that all the mist in Fergland originated from that meteor 50 years ago? Drill continued talking to himself. 50 years have passed. I hear there's very little mist left. Judgment Day is coming soon. Jiang Dantang finally understood. So mist is a finite resource. Drill replied, exactly. What remains makes prisoners kill each other. But I've noticed something. Mist seems to circulate throughout Fergland. Bring that over. At Drill's command, a bloated corpse was carried in front of Jiang Dantang. Jiang Dantang exclaimed, What is that thing? Drill said, someone who died after ingesting mist. Using your science, can you extract mist from this body? Faced with such an absurd demand, Jiang Dantang froze in fear once again. That three-dimensional maneuver gear, or whatever, you mean a centrifuge? Drill leaned in. No matter the method, can you separate mist from blood? Blood must contain a high concentration of mist. Those who ingest it frequently must have massive amounts built up inside. Jiang Dantang broke into a cold sweat at Drill's expression. You want me to extract mist from a corpse? Drill frowned. Is that impossible by scientific standards? Jiang Dantang said nervously, if the goal is concentrated mist, why not just breathe deeply? The air here is filled with mist, isn't it? Drill snapped and kicked him. What the hell are you talking about? If it were that easy, no one would go through all this trouble to find mist. Mist in the air can't be collected. It has to be condensed, gathered together. At that instant, Jiang Dantang realized something. Gather it together. When the sun rises and the temperature increases, the mist in the air slowly fades. And when that vanished mist gathers, it becomes rain and returns to the ground. What if I could do that? Drill froze when he heard it. Jiang Dantang repeated himself. I mean, what if I can gather the mist from the air? Meanwhile, after a full day away, Hound returned to base. Time for breakfast. But what greeted him was an eerie silence. He looked up and saw every member of the Hound group lying motionless on the ground. In an instant, Hound's eyes turned red, his whole body trembling. A heart-rending roar echoed through the base. Now, the Hound group had only Hound left. At the same time, 182, his left hand swollen beyond recognition, arrived at the cafeteria. This time, he didn't line up. He forced his way straight to the front. Get lost. What are you doing? Go line up. Can't you see I'm serving food? Are you a newbie who doesn't know the rules? Get back. 182 ignored the shouting. He slowly raised his balloon-like hand. Water. The moment he spoke, his left hand slammed down onto the serving table. Everyone was instantly intimidated by the sheer pressure he radiated. Just like that, 182 got his water and placed the sweet potato inside. For the time that followed, 182 simply stared at the sweet potato in the cup, wordless. Soon a full day passed. During that day, Jiang Danteng tested his theory, trying to extract mist from the air itself. Looking at the water condensed from mist before him, Jiang Danteng knew he had succeeded. I did it, he shouted, venting the gloom he had suppressed for so long as the others stared in disbelief. I'm the real deal, a true genius. It's over now. No one can touch me anymore, he roared inside his head. Meanwhile, 182 had been guarding the sweet potato all night. It didn't grow. I was tricked. Teacher, I'm going to kill you. Elsewhere, Rabuda and Lequi searched for new partners. Want to escape together? Let's get out of this place. We have a way to break free. The next second, a man pulled a knife from his clothes. Stop talking nonsense. Get lost. Forced to leave, Rabuda and Lequi walked on. Lequi said quietly, no matter how naive or kind someone is, it won't work. Everyone here knows about that. Does that mean we have to find Mr. Danteng? Rabuda replied dejectedly. He's the only one who doesn't. Lequi estimated, if nothing goes wrong, he should be at Drill's camp by now. Meanwhile, at Drill's base, a device known as a mist-catching net, commonly used in arid regions to harvest moisture from the air, was set up. The principle was simple. As temperature drops, water vapor condenses at the dew point. At dawn, when temperatures fall, a mesh structure captures moisture from the air, letting it condense into droplets. Jiang Danteng's idea was straightforward. Use a larger, more breathable auxiliary net as a filter, place a weight at its center, and allow the collected dew to flow down into a collection tray below. The resulting water would contain a high concentration of mist energy, and due to extreme humidity, the yield exceeded his expectations. Seeing the setup, Drill squeezed in eagerly. Was this water condensed from mist? Jiang Danteng answered, yes. Water condensed from the purest mist of Fergland. As for the exact particle concentration, he didn't know and didn't dare say. Drill dipped a finger into the water, then tasted it. Jiang Danteng's heart leapt into his throat. This is mist, Drill exclaimed. The purest mist. We have unlimited mist. In an instant, Drill's entire group burst into ballet-like dancing. The subordinates rushed forward, placing a prepared garland around Jiang Danteng's neck. Shouting, "Teacher!" They tossed him into the air again and again. Amid cheers and applause, Jiang Danteng was dressed in new clothes. Drill flattered him. "Teacher, you really suit a suit. You look completely different now. How does it feel? Are you satisfied?" Jiang Danteng replied, "It's great, like it was tailored just for me." Drill laughed happily. Clothes this finely made aren't for just anyone. Rest assured, starting today, no one will dare bother you. Welcome to the Drill Gang. We'll treat you with the highest level of respect. Jiang Danteng couldn't help wondering, could Drill be the man closest to becoming the super leader? He remembered what 182 once told him during their first meal together. To leave this place, one had to become the super leader. If Drill became the super leader, Jiang Danteng might finally gain access to the prison's upper echelons. Drill continued, "Today, we're holding a mist festival. Thanks to you, we no longer need to ration mist. All the mist we've gathered so far, we'll use it all today. All of it for ascension." As he spoke, he slowly turned his gaze toward Jiang Danteng. Jiang Danteng felt a flicker of curiosity. What did ascension actually mean? Meanwhile, the venue for the Mist Festival had been fully prepared. At the center of the Drill Gang's base stood a small mountain piled high with mist, surrounded by members singing and dancing in celebration. An indescribable joy filled the entire compound. Then, the instant Drill clapped his hands, it was as if time itself had frozen. The air plunged into deathly silence. Jiang Dantang could hardly believe his eyes. There was simply too much mist. Drill declared with theatrical cadence, "I am Drill, king of the underground. Brothers of the Drill Gang. Every effort we've made has finally borne fruit today. With all the mist we've gathered as our stake, today is the day I challenge ascension. Do you believe I can ascend?" The crowd roared back, "We believe." In an instant, the bass echoed with a single chant, "Ascension." Over and over, the Drill Gang shouted it, their fervor rising. Amid the cheers, Drill finally moved. "Teacher, watch closely. This is how a king is born." After finishing his words, Drill began stuffing the mist in front of him into his mouth as fast as he could. In that instant, longing filled the eyes of many Drill Gang members. Jiang Dantang was confused. Did Drill intend to swallow all the mist by himself? With the word ascension echoing around them, Drill's movements gradually slowed. His belly and mouth began to swell bit by bit. Any change? Not yet. Any change? Not yet. The exchange repeated again and again. In the end, his movements became sluggish. When only a few pieces of mist remained on the plate, he finally stopped. "Are you all right?" As Drill collapsed, the surrounding members finally fell silent. Staring at his bloated belly, Drill said angrily, "How annoying. Is this all I can manage today? I've consumed so much mist in my life." And yet, a subordinate flattered him. "That's because your potential is far too great, Mr. Drill. This amount of mist could never fill you. Besides, we're no longer short on mist. Why not try again next time?" Drill replied, "That's all we can do." Then a voice rose from the crowd. "Wait, everyone look. Isn't Mr. Drill's head longer than before? It is. He really has changed." In that moment, everyone saw the transformation. This is ascension. Instantly, the word ascension thundered through the Drill Gang once more. A subordinate asked, "How do you feel? Have you gained new abilities?" "I can sense the universe." As Drill spoke, an energy seemed ready to burst from within him. Everyone saw his belly, swollen like a planet, the place that had once been the source of the mist. "I think I've seen all the truths of the world. All of us exist in a hell woven from pale white and deep blue." The moment he finished speaking, vast shards of blue exploded outward. Before everyone's eyes, Drill detonated. The flying blue fragments were his body. "It's a fall," someone shouted. The Drill Gang surged forward, beginning to devour Drill's remains. Jiang Dantang suddenly remembered what 182 had once told him: either ascension or a fall. The boss has finally fallen. Mist everywhere. The horrific sight left Jiang Dantang completely stunned. Only now did he begin to truly understand the world he was trapped in. When a great beast falls, all things rise. With Drill's collapse, a rain of mist poured down. Those who had once worshipped him most devoutly now fought desperately to stuff Drill into their own mouths. At the instant Drill's Mist Festival ended, the real Mist Festival began. Jiang Dantang stood there in a daze as blue fragments kept splashing onto his face. After consuming more mist than they could endure, Drill Gang members fell one after another. At last, one subordinate came to his senses and shouted hoarsely, "Stop. Everyone stop. You can't take in this much mist at once. If this keeps up, we'll all die. Teacher, please stop them. Right now. Only you can guide us." Before Drill attempted ascension, he left his last words. If he were to fall, the teacher would become the new leader of the Drill Gang. Because of that, the remaining members all clung to Jiang Dantang. Jiang Dantang couldn't understand how things had turned out this way. He began to imagine that everything was just a dream. He couldn't accept reality. He instinctively closed his eyes, telling himself again and again that this was all a dream, and that everything would disappear when he opened them. When he opened his eyes again, he saw his older brother and even heard his voice beside his ear. "Didn't I tell you? I told you, didn't I?" Jiang Dantang begged desperately, "Brother, please save me. Get me out of here." But his brother ignored him and only said, "Don't you understand yet? A person's appearance doesn't matter." Hearing those familiar words, Jiang Danteng swallowed what he was about to say. They were all nothing but ridiculous masks. The masks of coward. Stop it. As the head of the psychological association, his brother could always see straight through what Jiang Danteng tried to hide. Because Jiang Danteng suffered from selective visual blindness, he could never remember his brother's face. As far back as he could remember, his brother's head had always been round. The first time he saw those drawings, his brother asked why he painted himself that way, and said he would never become an artist. For some reason, Jiang Danteng always felt his brother's face kept changing, sometimes like a lion, sometimes an angry man, sometimes a clown, sometimes a crying woman, and at times even a demon. No matter how it changed, the one thing that never did was that perfectly round head. Dante. His brother's familiar voice echoed by his ear once more. Then he realized it had all been a dream. He was still in Fergland. "Mr. Dante, are you awake?" Hearing the movement, Labuda and Lequi entered the tent. Jiang Danteng was completely disoriented. Had everything that happened in the underground kingdom really been just a dream? "Mr. Dante, we followed the markings on the map and brought you out of the drill gang's base. When we reached the sewer, you were lying there alone. Did you come to save me?" "Of course. Didn't we agree to leave this place together?" At the mention of escape, Jiang Danteng immediately regained his energy. "It's my fault for wasting time. Let's go now." Lequi stopped him, telling him to calm down. "Not yet. Labuda spent a lot of strength getting you out. He needs to rest first." As she spoke, she opened the tent flap. "Look, we're already right in front of the wall, and there are no watchtowers nearby." During this time, Jiang Danteng also told them everything that had happened underground. After drill fell, others began exploding one after another. The scene was total chaos. No one knew what was happening. Labuda said, "Yes, it was a fall. Death caused by taking in too much matter, exceeding what the body can endure. We call that exceeding the limit overload. Just like we said before, the more matter someone consumes, the stronger their abilities become. However, everyone's abilities have a limit. Once that limit is exceeded, the body explodes, expelling all the fog consumed so far. People don't know where their limits are. Mr. Dante surely has something he's good at, but even he doesn't know its limit. That's how fog gets reclaimed. Everyone is waiting for someone to fall. To leave this place, one must either ascend or fall. Does that mean that if ascension fails, the only way out of Fergland is death?" Jiang Danteng was confused. Then what does ascension really mean? Is it surpassing the limit? Labuda replied, "No. A limit cannot be surpassed. But sometimes a different ability can emerge. Some people gain a second ability once their original one reaches its limit. People like that are followed and worshipped by everyone. They become super leaders. Ascension is extremely rare. Most people fall." Jiang Danteng couldn't understand. Is it really worth risking one's life just for a second ability? Labuda explained, "There's a legend in Fergland. One day, a person with infinite abilities will appear. He will transcend the rules of this world and free us all. That's why he's called a super leader." At the same time, not far away, 182 closed his eyes, searching for the faintest sounds around him. The beating wings of crows in the sky, prisoners scuffling in the alleys, cockroaches crawling through the sewers. Nothing escaped his ears. At last, he found it. The sound of Jiang Danteng pushing up his glasses. Even though the wall itself lay beyond 182's line of sight, he still locked onto Jiang Danteng's position. "Found you." Elsewhere, a group of people wearing gas masks arrived at the drill gang's base. Their mission was clear: to collect the fog produced by those who had fallen. This place was glowing. That place was glowing too. At every moment, someone was falling. This one's purity is extremely high. Looks like he was close to ascension. What a shame. Hearing someone call him, the backpacker slowly raised his head. "Stop sneaking around picking that stuff up. This is your payment," the red-haired man said as he handed a bag of fog to the paper bag head. Looking at the fog in his hand, the paper bag head couldn't help but marvel. "This stuff is really high quality." The red-haired man asked, "So, did you find him?" The paper bag head turned around. "The one-armed guy? Should I say I found him, or that I didn't?" The red-haired man replied coldly, "It's been a full year. Is this really all you've got?" The paper-bag head answered, "Honestly, it just feels like a bad deal." This was a commission issued directly by the Fergland Operations Bureau. The red-haired man cut him off. "Trying to play games again?" The paper-bag head sighed. "I can't help it. Prices have been going up lately." Then he suddenly changed his tone. "So, can the price go higher?" The red-haired man replied, "As long as you bring him to me. Name your price." On the first night, after changing clothes, Jiang Dantang paid the price for his recklessness. He woke up freezing. Even worse, the young couple next to him was getting a little too close for comfort, which made Jiang Dantang feel even colder inside. It was so cold that he couldn't help coughing twice, and that was when the couple warming each other noticed him. Labuda asked shyly, "You're already awake? Is it because desert nights get so cold?" Jiang Dantang waved his hands quickly. "I'm fine. Right now, he just wanted this awkward conversation to end as soon as possible." After the weather cleared, the three finally reached the wall. Once they got over it, they would be out of Fergland. It hadn't felt like much on the way in, but standing before it now, the wall looked impossibly tall. Because it had been too dark the night before, Jiang Dantang only now noticed the strange stains covering it. And for some reason, an uneasy feeling crept into his chest. Thinking about how little he had contributed along the way, Jiang Dantang asked Labuda if there was anything he could help with. Labuda was considerate and simply asked him to carry his bag. Then he added, "By the way, there's something important. Do you follow any religion?" His family had their beliefs, but Jiang Dantang himself didn't believe in any of it. Labuda looked at him seriously. "Could you pray for us?" Jiang Dantang hesitated. "Pray? But I don't really believe in that kind of thing." Lequi said, "Belief doesn't really matter. When people are in danger, they just want someone watching over them. Just pray that we can escape this place. You can do that, right?" Jiang Dantang gave in. "Even if I don't know any proper prayers?" Labuda encouraged him. "That stuff doesn't matter. What matters is that you want this badly enough. Come on, we'll definitely make it out of here." After saying that, Labuda began gathering all his strength. "Mr. Dantang, pray for us. Whoever it is, ask them to give us strength." Jiang Dantang didn't know how to pray, so he simply begged everything he could think of one by one. "Hold on tight. We're moving in 3 seconds." But almost the instant the three jumped, a massive fist slammed straight into Labuda's face. The owner of that punch was none other than 182, who had sprinted all the way from Tofu Village. The impact was terrifying. Labuda, who had just jumped with full force, was smashed straight back to the ground. Lequi and Jiang Dantang were relatively fine. Labuda, however, lost consciousness on the spot. As Lequi tried to wake Labuda, Jiang Dantang hurriedly looked toward the vague silhouette in the sand. As the figure drew closer, he finally realized it was 182. Facing the furious 182, Jiang Dantang panicked. "Why are you here? You lied to me." 182 said this while raising a fist the size of a sandbag. "I'm going to kill you." Terrified, Jiang Dantang scrambled backward. Just as the punch was about to land, a shadow flashed past. To everyone's shock, 182 actually caught that blur with his eyes. Lequi cried out in fear. "Why did he run all this way just to stop us?" "Forget him, Labuda, let's jump now." Even though Labuda wanted to, 182's speed was simply too fast to ignore. Labuda couldn't help wondering, was 182's ability speed? As he chased them, 182 shouted, "Teacher, make him stop, or I'll break your legs." Jiang Dantang yelled back in panic, "I'm not even the one running. Why are you threatening my legs?" Somehow, 182 overtook Labuda, even having time to kick a mid-run. Moving at such speed, all three ended up tumbling across the ground for a long time before stopping. When Jiang Dantang lifted his head, 182 was already standing right in front of him. One look at 182's face made it clear. He was furious. Jiang Dantang hurriedly said, "Calm down. What did I lie about? I told you everything about growing sweet potatoes." 182 replied coldly, "I watered it. I gave it sunlight. Then why hasn't it grown?" Jiang Dantang froze, even starting to doubt himself. After checking the time again and again, he looked up slowly. Hasn't it only been one day? How could it grow in just one day? 182 shot back. Why didn't it grow? Were you stalling on purpose? Jiang Dantang was speechless. How was I stalling? 182 pressed, then explained why. With a headache, Jiang Dantang said, he had never dealt with such a stubborn student. Isn't it obvious? Everything takes time to grow. At least a week before you can even tell if it's changing. 182 suddenly understood. So that's how it is. Then he asked, so where are you going now? Jiang Dantang replied, I already told you. I'm leaving this place. And you don't need me anymore, right? Hearing that, 182 shifted his gaze to Lab Yuta and Liqui. Is it because of them? Jiang Dantang panicked. What are you thinking? Don't touch them. I've told you everything I know. Please, let us go. In that moment, 182 suddenly asked him, do you want to die? Or do you want to live? Jiang Dantang hadn't even processed the question yet. When 182 spoke again, or are you already prepared to die for them? Shut up. The instant Lab Yuta shouted, the unease in Jiang Dantang's chest grew stronger. Labuda's expression turned terrifying. You two done talking? If you're finished, stop getting in our way. Come over here, Mr. Dantang. Let's leave this place together. Jiang Dantang hesitated. Wait, what do you mean by that just now? Lab Yuta quickly explained, just nonsense from someone who's barely come out of a dissociative state. We don't have time, Mr. Dantang. Liqui added, Lab Yuta, let's just grab him and run. Jiang Dantang tried to speak, but Lab Yuta had already picked him up and started running. As he ran, Lab Yuta said to him, keep praying, Mr. Dantang. Do you really want to be trapped here forever? There was no doubt Jiang Dantang wanted to leave, but 182's words had shaken him badly. Now it was too late to say anything. Lab Yuta had already carried him into the air. He was only one step away from the world he had dreamed of. Yet, Jiang Dantang recalled everything that had happened since meeting Lab Yuta. No matter how kind they seemed, they were still strangers. Was it really necessary to go this far for him? Just as Jiang Dantang was about to clear the wall, a pair of powerful hands shoved him away. Labuda's springy leg tapped lightly against Jiang Dantang's abdomen. I'm sorry, Mr. Dantang. Using Jiang Dantang as a stepping stone, they crossed the wall he had always wanted to cross. The backpack Lab Yuta had given him burst open in midair. Inside were beads of mist, round and full. At the same time, two workers were measuring the massive creature. It moved another 30 centimeters this time. Wait, look over there. Following his gaze, the terrifying monster was already gone. Did someone else try to escape? At that very moment, the monster appeared beneath Jiang Dantang, mouth wide open, waiting for its meal. Time rewound to when Liqui marked a spot on the map. The mark Jiang Dantang had once asked about. Don't touch that thing, Liqui warned while drawing the map. It's extremely dangerous. Even so, Lab Yuta stood his ground and examined it closely. The enormous creature before them was a gargoyle that no escapee could ever avoid. It looked like an ordinary statue. Supposedly, if no one tried to escape, it would never move. Is this thing really alive? Lab Yuta muttered. Liqui warned him immediately. I told you not to mess with it. Lab Yuta replied, I just don't believe something like this can actually stop us from escaping. Liqui continued, some say it's a monster that appeared together with the mist. Others say it's a device created by the Operations Bureau to prevent the mist from leaking out. It functions like a safeguard. Whether the mist is inside our bodies or carried on us, the moment someone tries to let the mist escape, it intervenes.